So how do you show up? Leaders have an impact on their groups when they show up. You have an influence on your clients when you show up. The research suggests that within 2 hours of you arriving, the group will have your mood. So are you showing up at your client's site with an intention of them realizing what a lucky, lucky guy they are to have you on their team? How lucky they are to have you finding all these wonderful opportunities to operate more efficiently and effectively? Do you project that in the way you turn up? It's everything about how you show up. And how do you do that? That I don't know about you, but I'm much happier being around people that are energized, engaged, interested and interesting in what they're doing than somebody who is just sort of dragging themselves through the day. So, the last part of the day is a bit of polishing. Up on your feet, find some space, start chatting to each other about anything you like to talk about. Now look at each other and observe how you're all standing. Might we see some of these sort of positions? Hand in front of our crutch, perhaps, anybody? Hands in pockets, leaning on chairs, possibly. Folded arms, have we got any folded arms?
Yeah, we've got folded arms.
Yes. These are not postures of somebody with high expectations. So, hands down by your sides, or hands parallel to the floor, or any combination that you can think with. You need to think about your feet as well. What do you think your feet might actually tell people? Whether you want to talk to them or not. You actually want your feet sort of pointing at them. So the 90 degrees, once again, quite a nice comfortable way to be at a networking function. One of your feet is pointing at them, suggesting I want to be engaged in this. You've got a nice open thing saying, I'm very happy for other people to join this conversation. And you will have met some people who project a very serious, very credible demeanor about them. And what you'll notice about them is they're quite stationary. They don't move a lot, they don't talk a lot, they listen a lot. And they tend to use their hands in a palm facing down gesture, because they're telling you this is how it is. I don't want your way, it's my way. Whereas an approachable is much more rhythmic, there's a bit more bobbing of the head, and you can feel the tonality going up and down, and their gestures are going to be much more open. They're side to side or palms facing up. What are we going to do about this, guys? It's been really lovely working with you. So where are we going to take this? This has been such a great day. Are we going to do anything with it? Guys, there's no choice here. You have to change. Do you feel the difference? In order to get better at something, it's often worth exploring how do we do something the wrong way rather than how do we do it the right way. So let's look at the what not to do and see if that helps you with the what we might choose to do differently. There are 6 wrong ways to talk. The first one is the incessant talker, who just talks all the time, and he just it's really, really fast. He just wants you to hear everything he's got to say. And the even worse one than that is somebody who's sort of on this caffeine high. It's as if they're just permanently, drinking Coca-Cola or coffee, and it's lots of gestures, and they're talking incessantly, and it's really, it's just full on, and you're just sort of exhausted watching them, and they just can't help themselves. The other way is sort of a bit opposite. And some of you, this might just be how you are in the morning. Maybe you're just not a morning person, but it seems such an effort to talk. And don't expect me to use hand gestures as well. Then there's the good old thigh slapper. Have you seen these? These are great. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited to be with you here today because, we're going to have so much fun. I'm going to talk to you about how you should talk, how you do it professionally so that you're credible and ethical and you're wonderful. So, okay, we're into that. We all want to play with that? Fantastic. Let's go. The next level is a bit like the thigh slapper, where every time they finish the phrase, they just can't help themselves, but they drop the hands down to their thighs, is that they don't quite do that. But they feel that they've got to come back to the belly button, that they can't keep their hands out wide or down the side. It's just, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been really lovely working with you today, but I'm getting a bit concerned that we might be running out of time, and so I'm going to have to keep things moving along. So I hope you're okay with that. We're going to keep it moving along, but I'm sure we're going to be... I'm just checking, is it still there? Have I still got it? And the 6th one is milking. And I have to own up. And it's this idea that, ladies and gentlemen, it's really important that we get together, we build a fantastic high-performance team, and we go and score some goals. We're going to really do it this time, aren't we? So these are the 6 wrong ways to do it. So how might we do it correctly? Well, remembering how I said you should stand, so you've got your postures in these positions. The way to speak is with a frozen hand gesture. And to demonstrate that, what you do is not move your hand if you're not talking. So it's quite hard, isn't it? So I'm not talking, I move the hand, then I talk. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to look at the slide. What we have here are 6 items: incessant talker, caffeine high, medicated, thigh slapper, belly button insecurity, and milking. Which of those might you be? Do you see the difference? It's a bit like this, you know, if you put your hands together, there's normally a natural way we all link our fingers. If I then ask you to do it the other way, it just, oh, that feels a bit odd. This sort of feels a bit uncomfortable and odd. To put it in context, we were on this 5-day course. We spent 5 days. Every time we got up, people were being pulled up if they weren't standing correctly. By the end of the 5 days, everybody's just doing it without thinking about it. Like any new skill, it's going through this journey of, you know, unconsciously incompetent through to unconsciously competent. And in the middle is this conscious period where we're feeling a bit uncomfortable. And it's just whether or not you have the motive and the intention to drive through that discomfort to get out the other side where you actually don't even notice you're doing it anymore.